All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussion. This is going to be our last part of our Macho Man Randy Savage series. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into it. This is going to cover his WrestleMania 8 run with Ric Flair in 1992, leading up all the way to his departure, unfortunately, in 1994, pretty much because Vince didn't want to work him anymore. And what's funny is, as we start this WrestleMania 8, the original title match that they had signed from that infamous press conference was Hulk Hogan being the challenger to Ric Flair, naturally. With everything with the fallout between Hogan and Sid Justice, and then the speculation that Hogan was probably leaving, and the whole Hogan Flair thing that nobody knows about, the urban legend, they changed the main event to WrestleMania 8 to now a double main event. Hogan and Justice were one of them. So Randy Savage became the number one contender against the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And I actually enjoyed that match and the lead up to it especially. So, I mean, what was it? Flair had said that he had her for Elizabeth.
Yeah, they had the pictures that they were together. And they were saying, oh, they were there wasn't Photoshop back then. I forget what it was, but like they were doctored. I think they said it was doctored photos.
Yeah, with her by the pool with Flair.
Yeah, it was well done. It was really well done.
I loved at WrestleMania when Bobby Heenan in the beginning of the pay-per-view, he's looking up and
the centerfold.
Like, what are you looking? Yeah, he's like, I'm looking for the centerfold.
Yeah, because Flair had promised the centerfold of Elizabeth, and it was I think they said that it was pay-per-view, so they could show it, or something like that. Right? Or remember, maybe that was like a topic of conversation with people, like, oh, this is pay-per-view, so they could actually show anything.
But they never did.
Well, because there was no centerfold. That's why.
Yeah, they lied to us. Yeah. I was looking for it. I'm sorry,
but it was good. But it was good.
It was great stuff. Great storyline leading to this match. Mm-hmm. The match itself was good. He did injure himself in the match because he did go through 1992 with pretty much a bad knee injury. Ric Flair bled a lot in this, which I know pissed Vince off because they weren't kind of into that yet.
It was also obvious when they watched the video that he bladed himself. Flair was notorious.
Of course, and he always was like a bad bleeder. I really think this guy took blood thinners or something because I mean his hair went from white to red instantly.
Yeah. But it worked.
And then the whole thing with Elizabeth coming down to the ring, and I always love watching that part because then you see a young Shane McMahon trying to get her away, and I wish she would have just slapped him one time.
Yeah.
And I love that she's technically got a manager's license, and they're telling her that she cannot be at ringside. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then finally they just give up because she's like, I'm not leaving. And then Flair, with Elizabeth. And I mean, the ending with the roll up was a little cheesy, but again, with his knee, I don't think honestly he could have gone off the top rope with the elbow drop. So, I mean, doing it that way, I guess, kind of saved the match. And Savage becomes a 2-time WWE champion.
He cheated too. He pulled the tights.
Yeah, that's all right.
Remember, Bobby Heenan was going crazy.
Of course.
Yeah.
But, the dirtiest player in the game got his just dessert.
Yeah.
So now Savage is back on top of the world.
Great match.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Now, what followed from there, during this time, also during WrestleMania 8, Savage and Elizabeth were actually have separated in real life. And she made her final WWE appearance actually April 19th, 1992 at the UK Rampage pay-per-view. When Savage defended the title against Shawn Michaels. The divorce was final on September 18th, 1992, unfortunately, and they parted ways. So no more Elizabeth in the WWE. The next pay-per-view for Savage during his title reign was at SummerSlam in London against the returning Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 8. Now, the whole ridiculous thing of this was Flair and Perfect were pretty much putting up their services to the highest bidder. Oh, I'll be in his corner, or I'll be in your corner. I'll tell you how to beat this one. That kind of took away from the match. Because number one, we've said this on the SummerSlam 92 review. Why wasn't Flair on the card? Why wasn't Flair involved in the title match? Why wasn't the Flair, even if he was in a title match, in a match? It didn't make any sense. This Savage Warrior match was good. Of course, not as good as the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was nowhere near as epic as the retirement match.
No, and the way it ended, kind of, I mean, it saved face for both individuals. Savage, gets counted out, obviously the knee injury again. And Flair and Perfect get involved during the match. But the good thing about this was that because prior to this match, all the old tensions had resurfaced between the two, dating back to WrestleMania 7. And so they were able to patch things up going forward, which was good. What was I going to say? He kept, like I said, Savage won by count out. He kept the title again, but the injury played a role in it. Unfortunately, and I don't know why they did this, because this is where it started getting chaotic with the WWE title and everything. Because again, 1992 was very chaotic for Vince McMahon with all the allegations and everything that was going on. You see what the roster was at the beginning of 92 as compared to the end of 92. You knew something was going on.
Yeah, it becomes a mess.
On September 14th, 1992, on Primetime Wrestling, Savage loses the WWE title to Ric Flair after interference from Razor Ramon. Not even on a pay-per-view. This didn't make any sense. And then putting the title back on him, only for him to lose it shortly after that. I mean, it didn't make any sense. If you were to go to, if you wanted it to be Brett going forward, then honestly they should have just gone Savage to Brett, and you could have did that at Survivor Series. I mean, putting it back on Ric Flair for a month and a half, whatever it was, before he lost it to Brett on a house show of all places, it didn't make any sense.
I don't know. For whatever reason, they decided that they wanted Flair to put Brett over. Maybe because, I guess maybe because Macho Man was also a babyface and Brett was a babyface. They didn't want to do that again. I don't know.
That, and I know they wanted Flair. They wanted Flair to put Perfect over as well, the two of them, before he left, because Vince.
Well, he had already made. There was already the understanding that Flair was leaving. Yeah, he wasn't going to be up.
And Vince said that, look, if you re-sign, you'll be a mid-carder. Not going to push you. I'm going a different way. Flair asked for, said that's fine. Just give me my release. They said, do us a favor, put these guys over huge before you leave, and he at least honored that.
Yeah,
because he made Perfect into a fan favorite because he wasn't getting that big of a pop.
Yeah. What happened with Macho Man though? He just passed out in the Figure 4, right? That was the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. Flair wins the title, and I thought this was funny because now going forward, heading to Survivor Series, the photo has Ric Flair with the WWE title with Razor Ramon against the Ultimate Maniacs, Ultimate Warrior, and Savage. And that just totally changed in a matter of like a week.
Right. Yeah.
Titles offer him, and
we kind of got to go back for a second for when they team up, Warrior and Macho Man team up.
Oh, you mean against the Nasties?
Yeah. Well, they were already becoming a tag team. They were doing promos together. They were having matches together.
They actually had that. There was a number one contenders match against the Nasties, which the Nasties won. I never got their title shot. That's the best part. Jimmy Hart used it and stole it and gave it to Money Inc.
Yeah, I was thinking that they were gonna get the tag titles. At the time, that's what I was thinking. Considering that Macho Man had lost the belt, I was thinking they were gonna give those guys the titles.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, because Warrior and Macho Man had never won the tag titles.
No. And that's pretty much what was missing from their repertoire because they were both WWE champions, both Intercontinental champions. Make them the Triple Crown because Bret Hart had already hit that feat, and these guys were there, just as long. Why
they were
not?
Good. They were good together. I mean, some people argued that they were like too similar. Their personalities were kind of too similar, but I thought they complemented each other really well. And they were also really good friends in real life. They were friends. Mm-hmm. So Warrior and Macho Man, I like them together, and unfortunately, Warrior gets suspended or fired because of the whole, he was the HGH or whatever he was on, whatever performance enhancing drug that he was on. The steroid thing was going on. That's the real story, is why he ended up getting suspended and or fired, is because the steroid thing was coming up. So there was no
Vince wasn't taking any chances.
No, he wasn't. And they didn't. Also, it should be of note that British Bulldog also gets fired too.
Right after he loses the Intercontinental Championship.
It was the two of that was also both of them was on Saturday night's main event, right? That was Bulldog lost to Shawn, and Warrior was in the tag match. Is that the same Saturday night's main event?
I believe so. Yes.
The last appearances were
That's a shame. And then Hogan's on hiatus because of the steroid trial. He tucked his tail and ran. Sid Justice was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Roberts, who I don't think was on the steroids, he's gone. I mean, that's why I say look at the roster in that Royal Rumble. I mean, the ultimate roster
they have.
And then look at Survivor Series 92 and go, what the hell happened?
Unbelievable, right? It's crazy.
The era that we enjoyed from 86, mainly 87, up until now is just, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are gone.
Yeah, this kind of shifts into the new generation.
Which it took me a while to get used to.
Yeah. So with Macho Man, they did the pivot. And was it a week or was it how long was it? It was
a few days prior to Survivor Series.
It was really, really close to it.
It was on Primetime Wrestling.
Yes.
That Savage, they have the round table. You got Hillbilly Jim, Duggan, Vince, Heenan, and Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And Savage is like, I'm looking for the perfect partner, if you know what I mean. And they're like, what is he talking? He goes, read between the lines, So they start looking at Perfect, and he's laughing, which is obviously now Perfect has been medically cleared to wrestle after a year and a half. So this, I think they were waiting for him to be. If I'm not mistaken, the original storyline was Perfect and was supposed to be at ringside during that match, kind of cost Flair the match, and then that's where the feud was supposed to go forward to Perfect. Perfect was supposed to pretty much wrestle the beginning of '93.
I have no idea. I don't know.
My memory. Again, 30 years ago. But I remember reading it in the magazine that it said Perfect ready to go, and so I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. He'll probably be with Ric Flair, but then the whole thing changed. Perfect was kind of laughing it off in the first part of the show, but then as the night went on and Heenan's running his mouth, he's like, I take orders from Flair, you take orders from me. And that's the way it is. And he chokes him out, pours the water on him. He tells Savage, I accept, which was kind of weird seeing the two of them teaming. And I'm like, can he even be trusted against Razor and Flair? So that's where I say that the original promo shot with Flair with the title and Warrior just changed in a matter of minutes, with Flair losing the belt and Warrior unfortunately being gone. The match itself wasn't bad. It showed Perfect was in the ring a lot more, I believe, than Savage, because pretty much to show that he could still do it, and he looked great in the match. Unfortunately, at one point he tried to pull the heel and he kind of walked out, and then he gave it a thought for a brief moment and said, "How the hell would it?" He gets back up on the apron, tries to get Macho going because Macho's getting the crap beat out of him. All of a sudden, he gets the tag. Perfect gets in the ring. He shows off what they can do. The two of them worked really well together. They get the win by disqualification, and I really couldn't tell what Flair and Razor did because I watched this recently, for the review, and I think there was it was either the ref push by Razor slightly, or it was Flair with the chair on the outside. Not quite sure what they did, but either way, Savage and Perfect get the victory. Flair and Razor are irate. And so this was pretty much Flair's last main event spot because, he goes to the Rumble, and then the next night after that career ending, he's gone. And unfortunately, it didn't go any better for Savage. As we head into 1993, right before the Royal Rumble, they have him feuding with the Repo Man. Which, what the hell are you doing?
Repo Man.
You just, you had this guy in one of the biggest, a year prior, it's in one of the biggest feuds.
Mm-hmm.
And at WrestleMania, you had him in the title match, and now you have him fighting not even a mid-carder. This guy is below that.
Yeah, it's a shame. They kind of used Macho Man just for the time being, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, you're old now. We don't really."
Yeah, because when Monday Night Raw had started in 1993 and into the Rumble, he was a commentator, and I'm part of him. He sucked at it. Was really bad as a commentator.
He wasn't that good as a commentator.
Now, I thought for a brief moment that he was going to be in the limelight again because remember, in the Royal Rumble, he entered at number 30, and he was actually the runner-up. Now, of course, eliminating him, he did the stupidest thing possible. He goes for the elbow drop on Yokozuna and tries to pin him. of all things. And then Yoko just right over
supposedly,
the top rope.
Supposedly that was his idea. He wanted to put Yoko over.
So Yoko didn't need to be put over at this point, man. I mean, we pretty much knew what they were doing with him. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but he wanted to help out however he could.
Maybe to stay relevant because maybe he knew what the future was bringing.
I don't know. Supposedly he really liked Yokozuna and he wanted to make him look good. That's why he did that spot where he gets launched up like that.
I thought it was hilarious. But in any event, now, I mean, he's not even relevant anymore. He's commentating at WrestleMania 9, which again did a very bad job as. He's commentating through SummerSlam. He pitched an idea to Vince about a year-long feud to work with Shawn Michaels to build him up. Mm-hmm. And again, Vince told him he doesn't need building up. He's already there. He goes, no. He goes, let's do this, because Shawn was on board with it too. Let's do this promo that culminates at WrestleMania. I take the loss to him. And he goes, if anything, let it be for the title if you decide you wanted to do it that way, or let's just do a one-on-one match. Vince automatically denied it and said, I need you in the commentator role.
That could have been a great feud.
I think it would have been.
That would have been really good.
If you ever get a chance, watch the Rampage tour in 1992 after he wins the title. His first defense is against Shawn Michaels, and that match was pretty good. And that's Shawn Michaels not long being a tag team, just being in the singles role and going head to head with Savage. He was pretty good.
Yeah, I think he ended up teaming up with he did team up with Brett too in '92 when he was the WWF champion and Brett was the IC champion.
Yes,
they had one or two tag matches, I believe.
And then they even went at it on a house show. Brett put the title on the line against Randy.
Did they? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they had a good match there.
They even could have. Randy still had some gas in the tank, and we'll get to that.
I think he had a lot. I mean, look, he what did he go to 2000 when he was in WCW? I mean, he could have gone very well at least into 97.
Yeah,
still being relevant in the WWE. I mean, he went into WCW and showed them, look, I can still do this. Became a world champion.
Yeah, so I don't know. They just.
I mean, he finally tried to get relevant again because he doesn't get back in the ring until Survivor Series. He did a few house shows in between against Yokozuna, against Giant Gonzalez. Once in a while, he would do that. And then they did do the feud now with his buddy Crush. Crush had turned on him on Raw. So now they were doing the feud there. He was trying to help get him over. And not to mention, this put Savage into a 3 pay-per-view streak of being in there
at least,
to be relevant. Now, Mr. Perfect had gone out of Survivor Series 93 for, I believe it was injury, or was plaguing him again. So on Razor Ramon's team, Savage becomes the replacement. On Razor's 1, 2, 3 Kid, Jannetty, and now Savage versus IRS, Diesel, Martell, and Adam Bomb.
The man.
See? Yeah, we got him. No, he's not the man. God, I mentioned him one time. You never let it go. In any event, and Savage actually, I believe he eliminated Diesel during that. Then, of course, Crush comes down out of the thing. Savage gets counted out. He gets eliminated. But he was at least able to get into the match. I would have liked it better if he actually got onto Luger's team to get to face Crush. That would have made Luger's team a little better.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to keep them apart. I mean, the thing was that
imagine Luger, Taker, and Savage on the same team.
That would have been cool. The whole thing about that rivalry or whatever, like you never knew they were friends. They kind of just told you one day, like, oh yeah,
oh by the way, this is my buddy.
Right, yeah. And then
we're beating the hell out of each other, but he's my friend.
Right, because then it's when Crush ends up teaming up with Fuji, right? That's what happens. Yes. He comes back with the different colors,
which wasn't bad.
No, I mean,
but then like rest of them, he got caught with the illegal stuff as well, and eventually got terminated. But they brought him back, a couple of years later. But I mean, Savage tried to get him over.
Yeah, he was friends with him. I mean, in real life, he was friends with him. He was trying to help him out. Yeah, that was his idea, I believe.
So, and now the second of the streak in the pay-per-views, he goes into the Royal Rumble in 1994. He entered at number 10. He was eliminated by Crush, which of course gets this feud going even more. But at least he was in the Royal Rumble. So, and then he goes to WrestleMania 10 to face Crush in a kind of ridiculous stipulation, falls count anywhere match, but you have 60 minutes to get back to the ring. And the way he did it in the back when he tied his feet up, I mean,
and then he fell down.
Yeah. After he did all those knots, he still falls down. He's not tired. He goes, all right, whatever. I get back to the ring. I mean, it gave Savage one final WrestleMania. I mean, I thought this was really bad considering 2 years prior, you're in the world title picture. You've been relevant all these years, and now all of a sudden, just like that, you're Vince's little commentator. And from there, it gets worse because he's hosting SummerSlam. He's not even on the card. And he even said it on commentary, it gets really hard sitting out here day after day and not competing in the ring.
He hosted the one the year before too, right? Didn't he, in 93?
Yes.
Was it Master of Ceremonies or whatever, I think?
Yeah, because then when Luger won the match by countout, when they were acting like he won the belt, he was in there.
I did like the USA. The USA stuff he had on looked pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He
wore it a couple times, too. I think he wore it for 4th of July, I think, on Raw, I think.
Yeah. He was on the Intrepid with it, too.
Yeah.
And, I like how he congratulated Brett at WrestleMania 10. He gets in the ring. Matter of fact, he's the one holding the ring open for Owen Hart. Like, yeah, come on in. 14 guys want to beat your ass. Get in here. So, I mean, he did everything he could to stay relevant. And like I said, his final pay-per-view appearance was at SummerSlam as the Master of Ceremonies, which was ridiculous. Because, I mean, he could have been on that card. He could have made it better. His last wrestled match was September 13th, 1994 in Germany, when Savage and Brett teamed up against Owen Hart and the Anvil. That was it for him after that tour. He left at the end of October to sign with WCW. On October 31st, 94, he made his final televised appearance, making a save for Lex Luger against Bob Backlund. And then the following week, Vince was doing commentary, and at least he gave him, like we couldn't come to agreements on his contract, so we wish you good luck in all your future endeavors. He actually gave him that on the air.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Instead of just okay, he's gone, we're gonna automatically forget about him.
Yeah, he said Godspeed. I remember. Yeah, at the end of it. Yeah,
and a few months later, shows up on WCW Saturday night.
Yeah, apparently it came down to money.
That and the fact that he still felt like he could wrestle, and Vince wanted him in the commentary chair.
He wanted him in the commentary chair,
and he's not a commentary. He's not a commentator. No way.
WCW. Yeah, they were offering him pretty good money, and then he ends up taking the Slim Jim deal with him that he had.
Yeah,
the Slim Jim sponsorship,
which they used on several Halloween Havocs.
I think it was worth, they said, like $1 million a year too. A good chunk of change.
It was huge for him for years.
Yeah,
those commercials. So
so unfortunately, that's a kind of not a good ending for him in WWF at the time.
No, I don't think Vince treated him right at the end after '92.
Not towards the end, unfortunately.
I mean, just because you're having a youth movement and a new generation, you still need a veteran or two to help them get over.
Definitely.
You bring Hogan back he could wrestle WrestleMania 9, but Savage has to sit in the chair.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And the only thing that Savage did that was funny at WrestleMania 9 was when Bobby Heenan fell off the camel, pulls up his tight. I mean, that was the only thing. He could the whole night. I could not bear hearing him. Oh, he can palm the ring.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Just say you can't do this anymore. Get in the ring and hit somebody.
Yeah.
Start a feud. Hit Vince McMahon. Start that. It aggravated me. A great wrestler like Randy Savage, and he's on the commentator every night on Raw. No.
Didn't work.
He was still young enough to do it.
Absolutely. But all in all, he had a good career in the WWF. Legendary career. So
fought some of the best. Main evented some WrestleManias. 2-time WWE champion. 1-time Intercontinental champion. King of the WWE. Main evented 2 WrestleManias. Could have been 3 with the Ultimate Warrior. Never had a bad WrestleMania match. And I still believe his best one was WrestleMania 3. With Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
And I just wish we could have seen them fight again in the WWE.
Unfortunate. All right, what do we got coming up next?
We got the Immortal One. The original guy that used to bury people. Hulk Hogan. No, I'm just kidding. He was the true icon of the WWE. He was my hero and my fan favorite to me when I was a kid.
Yeah, mine too. Yep.
And this is gonna be fun to do his career.
The Babe Ruth of professional wrestling.
Not according to Flair.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys let us know what you think about Macho Man's career. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.